into making those programs succeed, and essentially nothing was done. After several years of frustration, the Natural Resources Defense Council, the Baykeepers, Friends of the Earth, Surfrider Foundation, and other similar like-minded organizations sued. And they sued the government saying, you haven't done anything. You've got these laws on the books, you haven't met your mandates. And they won. And then the money started flowing. So in the last few years, money to implement these programs has been funneled from the federal government into the state of California. Remember I said the state of California was deputized. There aren't federal EPA police in California. What they did is they came into California and all the other states and deputized the state and said, okay, state, if you want to participate in the federal incentives and federal benefits that the federal government has to offer, you have to meet these certain standards. Well, the state of California said, well, we don't have a bureaucracy of policemen who can do that at the state level. So what they did is they carved the state of California up into little regions, and you've got the regional water quality control boards. You've got the Santa Ana Regional Water Quality Control Board, the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board, and so on. And each of these regions are deputized to act as enforcement agencies and to police activity. One of the activities that was ordered that they must impose is the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. We call it the MPDES. You should think of it as stormwater runoff. Remember at the beginning of the slide I said you're going to be a little cracked? All these acronyms are going to start funneling around, and you're going to hear MPDES in the newspaper or read about it or on the radio, and you're going to know now what that stands for. National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. Each of the water quality control boards in California, and there are 9 of them, have adopted standards in order to meet the standards at the state, which the state adopted to meet the federal standards. So we have the Los Angeles Basin Water Quality Control Board, the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board, and so on. But what's new on the fronts of those boards? Well, let's take a look. LA has passed something called the Zero Tolerance Standard. Those cities, Monrovia, Alhambra, Arcadia, Pasadena, that are in the foothills, discharge all their water runoff into Long Beach. And Long Beach has the cesspool that results. So what Los Angeles did is they said no more. All of you upstream watershed communities are going to have to eliminate any toxic material. And then they set standards so that we know what levels of toxicity can be acceptable. They have adopted something called the Zero Tolerance Standard. I attended a program where a distinguished attorney who represents communities on this type of problem advised that rainwater, just fresh rainwater, in and of itself, violates a good many of the zero tolerance standards that the LA Basin has adopted, the Water Quality Control Board in LA has adopted. Don't take my word for it. Go to SoCalConnected.com. You've seen that program on KCET. SoCal Connected is on Thursday nights. If you go to KCET and type in SoCal Connected, it'll take you to the SoCal Connected website, and you can actually pull up shows that are on a YouTube type screen. If you don't want to do that, you can go to another website for my organization that we have it captured. Essentially, this was a presentation that explained the lawsuit between the upslope communities and the downslope communities over what zero tolerance means. Communities are not able to financially survive if they are indeed required to meet zero tolerance, because the infrastructure to filter out that toxic material upstream will bankrupt them. And that's what this new show is all about. San Diego Regional Board and Santa Ana have not gone to that extreme, but they are looking at zero tolerance. Essentially, these agencies have developed what we call a new MS4 permit. What that means is all of the cities within the Regional Water Quality Control Board's jurisdiction, say San Diego, all of the cities in that jurisdiction receive a permit from the Water Quality Control Board that enables the cities to discharge their runoff into the watershed collection system. That permit allows the board to exact punitive measures if what is discharged into the system is toxic. And they have and are now publishing their new permit conditions. Those conditions local cities such as yours, such as mine in Rancho and elsewhere, must meet if they are to receive permission to continue to allow their discharge to enter into the watershed system. So as I said, there are 9 regional water quality control boards in California. This is a depiction of their outline of jurisdiction. The Santa Ana region is larger than the San Diego region. In fact, it's pretty much runs right through El Toro, the boundary lines. Everything south from here is part of the San Diego region, and everything north up to LA is part of the Santa Ana region. And who are these people? Well, the Santa Ana Regional Water Quality Control Board are not elected people. These are appointed people. There isn't a single person in the Santa Ana Regional Water Quality Control Board who really has an ear to listen to what homeowners associations are up to. They are very much focused and overworked people. These people spend an ungodly amount of time administering their responsibilities. But there really isn't a good voice at the Santa Ana board. Then, of course, we've got the San Diego board. I'm happy to report that Gary Thompson, who's at the bottom, he's a recent appointee, is the mayor of Rancho Santa Margarita, and he attends all of the major homeowner association meetings, and there are others in the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board who are very sensitive to what homeowners associations are up to. Now, why is this important? Remember I told you about punitive measures? Up until this year, these water quality control boards have been administering this National Pollution Discharge Elimination System, and they've been issuing violation notices to businesses and to cities and to other organizations and, in fact, homeowners associations who have allowed runoff to discharge into their systems that don't meet their standards. Up until this year, there weren't any monetary penalties exacted upon homeowners associations. This year, Sacramento said, Governor Schwarzenegger said, we don't have enough money. We've got to raise some money, and we need to get tough on runoff. What you see up here is a lot of red ink, and that's the message you need to take. There is now punitive measures being taken against cities, homeowners associations, and builders. The city of Escondido suffered a penalty of $1,335,000. The America Plaza Owners Association suffered a penalty of $12,000. Now these are uninsured losses, folks. The Studio 15 Housing Partners, which is a development group, suffered $42,000 in penalties. And so on. Now I have a particular fondness. Yes, sir?
Is there anybody out there asking, what the hell are we doing?
Me and you folks. And that's why you're here tonight. But you need information. Most of the people don't know what's going on. And this is why I'm here. I have a fondness for this community. And why? Well, let me just show you. Let me get my pen out here. Let me get the highlighter and see if I can highlight it. You see this firm? There's my name right there.